What's up, Standardites? It's your boy Worm coming at you from my living room. Last time I shot it in the studio because that seemed prevalent, but now shooting from the living room because the studio is kind of messy. I don't feel like cleaning it up. Of course, my living room is messy too. Luckily, all you can see is this, my pretty little, nice little luscious sheet back there. Or actually, it's a blanket or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I like leopard print.
Whatever. Say something. Go ahead, say something, okay?
Anyway, this round, I have to agree with Frenchie, this round was good. There was a lot of competitiveness going on. I put the Wormerick up there, and my order was mixed up a little as far as how things turned out. First off, maybe I am right in Pete's dick, but he's got his style, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that he's bringing something to the table that's definitely something that could be, marketable. But like you said, I will agree to say that I gave him the spot because I gave him a jump on my end because I believe in him, and I love that song. That song told his story from round one to now. Nobody, with the exception of Frenchie, which Frenchie, he doesn't compete. So with that taken into account, nobody can really give a story like that in a song as an artist. And so that's why I had Pete marked as one of the possible standards. And I talked about the catchy chorus thing and the Wormerick, and I think that he's proven me and what I was saying kind of wrong. In the chatter group, I posted a thing by one of my favorite artists. Well, hey Pip. Pip's gonna come in the video now. Look at him. That's my dog. Can you see him? I don't even know if you can see him. Pip, come see. Show yourself. Show yourself to the Standardites. Say hi. Look, they're looking at you right now. Anyway, there's a big thing about that whole thing with Pete. Frenchie thinks that we're riding his dick. Maybe he is right in some ways. But I tell you what, all it's gonna do is try to help push Pete more. I gotta give a shout out to him about the big show that we did recently. I know that didn't have anything to do with the standard, but me, him, and there was a couple other cats in the standard there. Black Lotus was there, and of course T-Dug. Shout out to T-Dug. I know he hasn't been competing lately, but he's going to be back in there, I'm sure, real soon. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Mike Baskin, congratulations. Three-peat. I did write that in there that he may very well be up for that, and he did. The judges obviously still had him bringing that fire. I had mentioned in mine that the two reasons that I gave Pete that jump, which he got fourth, so I was way off on that, but that's fine. He was still ordered in there. Coming up on with Mike's thing, I loved his song. There was nothing wrong with it. I just didn't think it was the same level of entertainment as the last two have been, and keeping a certain mood about it. But there was nothing wrong with the song. It was a good song, and I loved the little comedic kind of like going to that and then going back to some real telling you a story about his life stuff. So I felt he deserved it, and I don't have any issues with him getting it. Like just like Frenchie said. Louis Morgan, the dropper, he brought something to the table, and he was fucking going the fuck off. Like, it was a great song. I love his style and delivery. It's almost jarring at times the way he's kind of like going really fast real quick, and then all of a sudden he's kind of levels it out, and that's cool. There's honestly, to me, that doesn't bother me at all. I didn't have any problem with that. Some people might look at that differently, but I liked it. I'm pretty sure that he's gonna be something to compete with as far as the standard artists are considered. And again, shout out to Out in the Woods, because they are, in fact, bringing something to the table and showing like that they're set, or they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Stable. They're stable. They're a force to be reckoned with. And I have respect for them. King Mike has dropped out to take on to some other projects, and that's understandable, because if he wants to apply himself fully to something else, I totally understand. He's still going to be there. He's still going to be checking us out, and I'm sure we're going to see him again real soon. In fact, I know we're going to see him again in the Diamond round, because, hell, he got 3 fucking standards. So, 3-peat definitely gets you in the Diamond round coming up here in about 2 rounds. Ace McFly. His delivery was great. His flow was great. He obviously has really good talent. I love his originality and content. There's not much I can really say bad about it. As far as like my tastes are concerned, it's not something that I would like jam on the regular. But that don't say shit about it, because really I am kind of an oddity when it comes to the things I listen to. There's certain things that I listen to are considered mainstream, but most of what I listen to is considered underground, or even like I listen to nerdcore, and I listen to a lot of internet hyped up stuff like Mac Lethal, and here lately my boys got me checking out these Blind Fury freestyle stuff. And but that's something actually I might do kind of want to do a video about that, about the freestyle versus the writers. But anyway, blah.
I'm getting off track just a little bit.
Back to the round 7 stuff. Sean Keller, his sub was great. I did make that mention about the little spaces. Frenchie said that he was cool with that. He didn't have a problem with it, and I can see both sides of that, because that is a really cool part of the instrumental to like let play. I can see maybe some echoing ass background, maybe even some spoken word there that works really well in the background, but not taking over the music, maybe even building up with it. I'm glad that it seems like right now in the votes he's going to be coming over in the next round. I'm excited for the next round, because I'm going to try to put something down with y'all and try to come with something so that way, you know, I can compete, because that's what you got to do. That's one of the reasons why I love this stuff, is because it's pushing me while it's pushing everybody else, and everybody's, you know, there's a competitive edge, while at the same time there's this mutual respect. These cats that I'll get to later that don't have the mutual respect, they're gonna find out real quick that that's not gonna get you anywhere. Anyway, Dwan, I respect what he was doing. He's got a voice, and I know what he was trying to do with it, and I know what he can do with it. I think that because I think that he can do more with it. I think that there's a vocal ability there that has not been tapped. Beyond that, I didn't have any problem with his sub either. In fact, to be honest, overall, there's only about a handful of 3 subs that I could really gripe about, and one of them was just recording-wise. It wasn't even about the performance. It was about the mastering and the fact that the levels were hot, but we'll get to that too. Uno posted, after I posted my thing, he said, really? You know what? I'm gonna retract a little bit of how I did it to say this. Yeah, I know you were hurried and you did it in a day or so, and I know that may have taken away to some of the quality, but really I went back and listened to it after he posted, and I think maybe I bumped him down a little bit, but just justify my own self righteousness in this, I had him only 1 spot lower in the numbers than where he ended up in the numbers. So I guess there's a give and take there. I hope that Uno doesn't, like, you know, think I'm hating, because if anybody knows me, I'm not a hater. I really like what he did with the song. The Taylor Swift thing kind of threw me off, but you know, whatever. You know, I have my, there's those kind of like, that's kind of like one of them things, because it fit in the song really well, and I really love the whole shut your mouth. That's freaking hilarious, and it's great. Uno's so original and so like he's got an ability to be able to put all that stuff together and make it work really well. And his flow is fucking phenomenal. I really don't know why I even have to say that he fell short to some of the other things this time, but that's just how I felt about it. And overall, I know he can really bring something more to the table. And he did a few spots lower than he did last round, but I'm a little disappointed that he's not going to be in this next round. But I know he's going to sign up again, and I know he's going to kill it when he can put the time into it, and life doesn't pull him away from this. And congrats on the baby again. The utmost respect for submitting, even though all that happened. Like he even said, "Oh well, I'm not going to submit. This is what's going on," and like everybody unanimously was like, "Oh well, we understand. This is one of the few times that it's like, okay, that's understandable." And he's still sub, so there's no BS to be heard about life and this and work and everything. You got to find time to do it. I fortunately have a lot of time right now. I need to find a second job, and I need to put more time into that kind of stuff. But I've found some little ways to make it lately, and the show helped me out a little bit. And I think that I'm starting to get my little swing going on. Back to the people's Lotus, Black Lotus, Daryl Wiltz. I liked his I liked what he wanted to do with it. When we recorded it, it was rushed like crazy, and so I take the blame for the choruses being off, because we were doing some moving around with it to try to make it sound good, and we were both sleep deprivated, and so it didn't come out as good as we wanted it to. But overall, I think it was a pretty good little sub, especially for his first time in, and especially for doing it over the course of a couple of hours, from like 3 in the morning to like 6 in the morning when we recorded that. Willie G. Bentley. First of all, I want to apologize because I didn't get him transferred over whenever I did the Wormerick at first, but then later I did figure out what had happened, and I put him on there. And I went back and listened to his sub, and he had a really good sub. In fact, I probably would have put him up either probably right behind Uno, and maybe even moved Lotus down, but to be honest, it was still right there in that same neighborhood of being in the what I call the substandard. His song, we had quite a few singers this round, and that was cool to bring in some R&B-ish kind of feel to it. And the scores came out to bumping people around, and then I have an overall approval rating score in my little group that I did, and it brings a level of respect to the game in my mind, of saying of how the artist is, how they carry themselves, maybe even considering some of the things I've heard from them, as well as how they respond to feedback. Because if you are going into a big, like if you're getting into something and you're actually starting to go record for some label or something, and somebody puts out an article on you saying, "Oh well, he's trash, I don't like it, blah blah blah," and then you're caught, in an interview at a radio station or maybe even on TV saying, "Well, fuck that guy. That guy has no idea what he's talking about," and like just basically being a dick about it and not being professional about it. That's gonna affect the way the label or the way anybody looks at you. As an independent artist, it's gonna affect the way the fans look at you. And so, I mean, that's something to be thought about, and that's why I included that in the Wormerick, was the overall approval rating on how they carry themselves and such, and also what else I've heard from them. And just, there's also a certain bit of a gut feeling there about an artist. You call it like astrology in my mind or some shit, but like some kind of magic crap that I feel. But there's an aura about people, and even online you can tell by the way they react and the way they talk and the way they treat others and the way they talk about themselves. B More, his concept and chorus was excellent. I know mixing and mastering is not supposed to be a big deal, but the levels were real hot. Beyond that, it was a good song. We can all learn from that. And I early on I called him catching like 5th or 6th place, but then as we got more subs, they started topping and topping and topping him. So that's why he ended up a little bit towards the bottom. Ryan Plummer, Forsaken Child. His sub was not horrible. It wasn't really bad. I think that there was a lacking in the cadence and rhythm and overall flow there. Like it was almost like he recorded. It was almost like he recorded to a click track that was very basic and didn't have the same exact rhythm as the song. Maybe he had a different cadence going on in his head that was going along with the song, and it just didn't fit. I'm not disrespecting him. He obviously has some bars in him, and he can write. I know he has the driving needs because he wants, I can tell that there's emotion in his voice. He's got something to be brought to the table. He does need to get a little bit more humble about it. His responses, in my opinion, Michael Murdoch McCrae, who's my buddy from New Orleans, we were talking about it one night, and he brought it up to me, and so I'm going to say it the way he said it. His responses were like big-headed dickish. Like he was just like very dismissive in my opinion. He said something like, I don't know what you're listening on, but sounds fine to me. Well, all right, buddy. If that's the way you want to look at it. But I don't, I listen to his other songs on Reverb, and I feel like that, he acts like he's the shit, and I'm not totally convinced. I don't act like I'm the shit. So, if anybody wants to talk shit on me, or clown something that I've done, whatever, I don't pretend like I'm fucking Kanye West. I've been watching them Kanye, freakouts lately, so here's the first person that popped in my head. But, I don't act like I'm Jay-Z or somebody that is a badass and is a mogul. This is Kyle KRX, way off beat. This is the part where it's gonna get kind of hectic because I don't respect him at all.
Who the fuck you think you is?
First off, you come with a funky ass song. At least Forsaken Child had some sort of, cadence. Even if it wasn't the cadence that I felt was on the song, he had a cadence. Kyle was way down. He was very dismissive and disrespectful when people were saying stuff, and he was being bitchy. They got in your feelings. Just say it out loud with your motherfucking mouth. They got in your feelings. And now you gotta go back to the drawing board or lay it down, brother. Unless he does some sort of sincere public apology, starting with Frenchie along with everybody else over the bullshit that he said and trying to hate on the standard as if there's, as if we're just some kind of rinky-dink fucking group that has no idea what the fuck music is. Fuck him. Seriously. I don't respect him. Even whenever I went and listened to the song before he said all that shit, I was like, I literally told Michael, because at that point in time, we had them two, we had B More, and that was it that had subbed. And I told him, I was like, man, the guy who's singing, who was B More, he's showing something up. I was like, but other than that, so far round 7's kind of amateur hour. Then, after that, we started getting more subs, and I had to fucking eat my words because the round became very, 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 very badass. I respect everybody in it. I hope that everybody had a good time checking everything out. I'm gonna cut this short. You guys are awesome. The Warmer Rick live, baby. This has been a word with word. Once again.
Up and suck this sack. I see high. Everybody wanna do this. So fly. Everybody wanna do this. I see high. Everybody wanna do this. I'm feeling like broken. Everybody wanna do this. I cry, lie. At the speed you can't even catch or imagine. Bagging, sagging, rapping, happen, cracking, napping, flapping. My mouth so fast that the bitches keep dripping. I'm tripping, slipping, ripping. quick when I get it, when I come with the flow, when you know that I go kinda quick when I get with it.
These motherfuckers don't
I'll never, ever, can't have it better, set her down and fuck her better. I seem to be high, everybody wanna do this, so fly. Everybody wanna do this like I seem to be high. Everybody wanna do this, skipping, and I'm floating like pimpin'. I'm floating like everybody wanna do this a feather. I seem to be high. Everybody wanna do this, skipping, and I'm floating like pimpin'. I'm floating like everybody wanna do this a feather.